Good morning from Kandy. I just started my journey leaving from my amazing homestay here in the wonderful Kandy Hills and driving now down to the city of Negombo. Which is a rather sad day, as you will learn during my clip, so hang on with me as I share my plight. And as you might have noticed, I just departed from my guest house here in Kandy for my journey towards the city of Negombo. The roughly 120 kilometers should take me a bit more than 4 hours of easy and relaxed driving. Join me and let's see what we can discover along the way. Here I am now at the Sri Maha Bodhisimamalakia. It seems to be a special Buddhist place that is built on top of the fast-flowing Mahaweli River. The view here is breathtaking, but unfortunately, as we can see, the religious shrine is not well maintained. Anyway, let's now continue into the direction of Paradinia and Kiribath-Kumbura, where I think we can find another surprise.
Traffic looks quite okay now.
And here we are at the Highway Museum complex in the town of Kiribath-Kumbura, a historical center that has a collection of road maintenance gears dating back almost 180 years. On display are old and rare stone street rollers, steam street rollers, oil street rollers, tar boilers, coal scales, street signs, and a model of the old Pagoda wooden bridge that was built in the 16th century during the Dambadiniya era. It is said to be the oldest surviving wooden bridge in Sri Lanka, and situated around 7 kilometers to the west of Badulla. Interesting to know is that all parts of this bridge were constructed from wood, including the use of wooden nails as fixing material. Now that I am just driving into the town of Kadugannawa, I am noticing here these old locomotives and train carriages that are just placed outside the Kadugannawa railway station. And when taking a closer look, I just realized that I arrived at the National Railway Museum of Sri Lanka. What an unusual place, but since I am a bit of a fan of old railway cars, it is definitely a place worth exploring further. And for that, let's dive a bit into the history of train travel here on the Kandy to Colombo line. I learned that the first train service from Colombo to Kandy commenced on the 30th of April in the year of 1867, and it was only transporting merchandise and other materials. The first passenger service started 3 months later on the 1st of August in the same year. Actually, the British colonial government of Sri Lanka began building the Ceylon government railways in the year of 1863, in order to develop and unify the country. The first segment of this line was then opened in the year of 1846, but it was only from Colombo to Ambapussa, and it was the very first rail line here on the island. The railroad was then extended in stages with service to Kandy, that began in 1867, then 7 years later it reached the town of Nawalapitiya. In 1885 the station of Nanu Oya was opened, and 9 years later it reached the town of Bandarawala. And then finally in 1924 it reached the final station in the city of Badulla. The main reason for building the railway system in Sri Lanka was initially to transport tea and coffee from the hills down to the Colombo harbour. Nowadays it is considered one of the most scenic train rides in the world, as the nearly 300-kilometer route takes you through a variety of landscapes, including tea plantations, forests, mountains, agricultural areas, and small towns along a mix of deep gorges, craggy cliffs, cascading falls, lakes, rivers, and including sometimes hair-raising twisting and turning bridges and tunnels from Sri Lanka's west coast in Colombo all up into the mountainous interior of Badulla. Now this National Railway Museum of Sri Lanka is owned by the Sri Lanka Railways, and it was opened on the 27th of December 2014, after being moved from the city of Colombo to here in the town of Kadugannawa. It was also to commemorate the 150th anniversary of railway service in Sri Lanka, and it features a mix of old engines, locomotives, rail cars, trolleys, carriages, machinery, and equipment that have been used since the beginning of Sri Lanka's railway history. One of the main attractions here is certainly the recently renovated Chief Engineer's carriage, and the diesel locomotive with the number 500, that was built in the year of 1934, as well as the brightly painted steam locomotive carrying the number E193. Which was built between the years of 1898 to 1928. Unfortunately, many of the exhibits here are in dire need of a good renovation, in order to preserve the valuable past train heritage of which Sri Lanka is so proud of.
Car wash centers. They let the water run all the time. Huh? As a kind of
And here on my right-hand side we once again can see the famous Kadugannawa Rock Tunnel, which is said to have been built in the year of 1880 by the British engineer Captain William Francis Dawson. I am now making a brief stop here at the Kadugannawa Rock View and Rest Area to admire the view of the nice landscape and the Bible Rock, which was so called by the British because its surface resembles a book. The actual name is Balana Mountain, and it is a table-shaped rock that is rising to a height of 798 meters above sea level, which is situated near Aranayaki in the district of Kigali. Now let's relax and enjoy the rest of this ride, which is for me similar to a beautiful symphony, as I am greeted by the nature's beauty on my left and on my right. And as I am traversing the many small villages and interacting with the lovely and helpful people of Sri Lanka, I am surprised, over and over again, by the ever-changing gorgeous panoramic views, and the almost never-ending vast landscape that is dotted with the dramatic beauty of the lush hills and valleys, which is overflowing my feelings with gladness and optimism along this never-boring journey. And as I am driving from Kandy towards Negombo, and further traversing on this truly special highland road that is passing from rocky mountain passes, down into densely lush hills and further descending into green valleys, that are marked by small but always unique local villages, that are surrounded by lush green rice fields, I feel a bit like in a fairy tale. I really did not expect this ride to be such a nice journey, and that is the reason for my unusual subtitle, Sri Lanka Uncovered. I recorded this 6th season in my limited time of just 30 days, starting from the city nearest to the airport, which is Negombo, and there I rented my motorbike and began my journey up to the northeast to Dambulla, the city of the Royal Cave Temple and the Rock of Sigiriya. Then from Dambulla to Anuradhapura, the city of 119 successive Sinhalese kings, and from there to Trincomalee and the Temple of 1,000 Columns. Then I continued further down south on the east coast to Batticaloa, which is the former capital of the eastern province, and from there I proceeded onwards to the beaches of Arugam Bay. From the surfing capital of Arugam Bay I was turning west into the highlands and up to the mountainous town of Ella and its 9 Arches Bridge. After enjoying some cool and nice days in Ella, I proceeded further south, traversing over 100 lush green hills and through as many equally beautiful valleys, where I met my best Sinhalese friend in the middle of nowhere, before finally reaching the fortified coastal city of Gal. After visiting the stunning fort and the beaches, I then continued to Colombo, the capital city of Sri Lanka, and enjoyed the different faces of the old and the new part of the city. From Colombo my ride continued up to Kandy and the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic, as well as the crazy Tower of Ambulawawa in Gampala. After some relaxing days in my beautiful guest house in the clouds of the hilly Kandy area, I am now here and returning to the city of Negombo for my departure later today. In total I clocked up nearly 2,000 kilometers on my trusty bike that I rented from Shane Tours 176 in Negombo, and that never failed me. During this 30 days I managed to visit more than 10 cities and countless towns and exploring most of their surroundings and condensed it into 21 episodes, trying to convey my traveling impression while exploring the different parts and cities of this beautiful island, into a travel vlog of value for my YouTube friends, for motorbiking enthusiasts, as well as for the future tourists to the Pearl of the Indian Ocean, and last but not least, of course also for the people of Sri Lanka. Nevertheless, all my impressions of this journey exceeded my expectations and dreams by far, and they will certainly stay in my memory for a long time to come. I truly hope that this Sri Lanka Uncovered series will reflect the beauty and kindness of this amazing island and its people that it deserves, and that it will be an inspiration for many of you to do similar journeys, exploring the true beauty of places away from the hustle and bustle of the overcrowded tourist destinations. And that it will be an example on how to let the journey become your holiday, and trust me, once you master this, and with keeping an always open mind, you will certainly have the perfect holiday that you will never forget or regret. And if you have never been to Sri Lanka, try to come now or as soon as you can, as Sri Lanka will always stand out as a special place to visit and explore. It is a relatively small island, with so much to offer, an island made up of some of the most diverse landscapes and climates. A history so unique and richness that extended beyond the areas of Southeast Asia and the Indian Ocean. Moreover, the Sri Lankan culture is often reflected by using art, architecture, sculptures, festivals and food which is often influenced by the prominent religions prevailing the country. The Sri Lankan way of life is very simple and is filled with humility and happiness, and therefore don't be surprised if you meet with some of the friendliest people you ever have met. And eat some of the tastiest, flavorful and cleanest food you ever have enjoyed. I can promise that there is so much to see and to do in this beautiful country that with only a month you will barely scratch the surface of this country. And if you worry about getting around here in Sri Lanka, traveling here is actually so easy, and you can choose from so many different options, like self-driving your car, tuk-tuk or motorbike. Or renting a chauffeur-driven car or a chauffeur-driven tuk-tuk, or simply going by bus or by train, whatever mode you choose. It is really simple to navigate and easy to travel around on almost the entire island. Beside this, Sri Lanka is also offering you one of the best nature places, like safaris, beaches, mountains, plains, or city life, whatever your heart desires, with an always fantastic and diverse climate throughout the country. One day you could be soaking up the sun down south in Unawatuna, and the next day you could be riding in a jeep on your very first and wildest safari. In Sri Lanka you are able to have it all. City life in Colombo, the beaches down south, wild animals and safaris in one of the many national parks, plucking tea in the hills of Nuwara Eliya, brushing up on your history in Sigiriya, or hiking in Ella. There is so much to see and to do, and the amazing fact is that if you like, you can change your program and destination easily and affordable, on a daily basis. My best advice is to come as fast as you can, as the prices are still affordable but on an upgoing trend, and so is the tourist arrival. It is going up significantly, as well as the prices with dining out and accommodation costs that already have increased quite a bit due to the added tax the government imposed since the beginning of this year. So my advice: if you want to see Sri Lanka for the best price, then now is the best time to visit this island of amazement.
So the outskirts of Negombo already starts. Getting near to the guest house.
Thank you Sri Lanka, and thanks to all the Sri Lankan people for having me as a guest here. I had an amazing time and I certainly look forward to coming back. And with all these wonderful memories in my mind, I sadly must now leave the island immediately, as my visa is expiring now. But stop, wait, not so fast. Not before I am finishing my nice dinner here at one of the best eating houses located here in Negombo, the almost legendary Queen's restaurant here on Lewis Place. And definitely my favorite by now. So now I am ready to end my Sri Lanka unexplored adventure here, not only in style but also in this unforgettable nice ambience. Once again, thank you all for watching my last episode of this season 6, and all the previous ones, and being part of this amazing journey. Good night and see you in my next adventure of season 7, which is coming up on this channel very soon and in a completely new and exciting location. In the meantime, have a great journey, drive safe, be happy, stay healthy, and certainly never ever stop to explore even more.